Afternoon and good morning. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us on what is the final wake-up call of the week. Do not worry, we are going to be back on Monday with Wake Up Call, but that's next week. We've still got an hour and a half to go of creative fun and creative previews as to what's coming up today on Crafters TV. So before I tell you what's going on, let's say hi to Becky.
Hi.
Becky, how you doing? We've already been together this morning for Craft, Chat and Create on that one there.
Yeah, and it was a good show.
It was a really good show.
That's the first one I've done and I really like the format of it.
Yeah, really, it's the second one that I've done.
Right.
Really good today because we went back to kind of like basics and that as well. A lot of lovely comments and that. Yeah. So if you've not seen them yet, as of yet, well, we'll be back with them from Monday onwards, Monday to Friday. Yeah. But here we go. Let's have a look now and see what we've got coming up today on Crafters TV. And this is now our second week of Softer Side being here on a Friday, 3 o'clock here in the UK, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time. So we've got Becky Sworn also joining us. So we've got George and George in the gallery and I've got Becky and Becky in the studio. That's not going to be confusing at all. So that's coming up in Softer Side. So around about an hour's worth of wake-up calls going to be dedicated to the soft crafts. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to give you more of a preview as to what's coming up in launch day with myself and George. That's 7 o'clock here in the UK, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time, where, well, it is the full hours of, full 2 hours for the launch day. I did give you an hour and a half preview on my Facebook page last night, which you guys went nuts for. We gave a bit of an hour's preview this morning on Craft, Chat and Create.
Okay. Yeah, we did.
And we're going to give you another bit of a preview as well when it comes to the image sentiment dies. But as I said a moment ago, it's not just me and it's not just Becky. We've got Becky Sworn as well joining us for Wake Up Call. Hey, Becky.
Hello.
How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Yeah, you ready to go for another day?
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be really confusing with all the Beckys. But we'll get through it, won't we?
We'll get there.
Yeah, I
always do.
If someone says Becky, we'll just both answer.
I think so.
50-50 chance.
So Becky, what is the best fabrics to use for cushions?
Great question.
Really
Thank
good
you
question,
very much.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll answer it later.
Good. Well said. What else have we got, Becky?
We have got oodles coming up for you today. Hello to Thea, you're in from the Netherlands already. Hey up D, how are you from Kentucky? Hello to Crystal as well, in from Pennsylvania. Hello to you all. I've got Ohio in, Doncaster in as well with us today. There's lots of you in, and if you are tuning in right now, you are going to be chuffed as peas that you are, because if you love your embossing folders, and just to let you know, lovely Craig did some demos with the embossing folders earlier on in the 3Cs show. You have the opportunity to get 50% off all of our Gemini embossing folders until the end of Sunday. So if you've had your eye on one, then it's definitely time for you to go and treat yourself. And that again is until the end of Sunday. So do make the most of that. Not only that, but today we want to remind you about Craft Factor. Now, we've not got a Craft Factor on today because we've got so much other stuff going on. But if you would like to get involved, it's so much fun and so easy to do. And you may well just find your brand new favorite passion. This is how you're going to get involved. You're going to create an audition for us. You can do it at home. You don't even have to come into the building. All you have to do is submit a short video about yourself. Tell us about yourself, what you love about crafting. Then 4 to 5 pictures we want you to send in of cards or makes, things that you've made in the past that you absolutely loved. Send those in to us at studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk, and you could be here on joining us for our Craft Factor. So it's a great one to get involved with. Now, I did mention that we have got a lot of stuff coming up for you today, and I was not lying, was I, Craig?
Absolutely right on that one there. And just say as well, on Team Social, we've got Rachel giving us a helping hand, who has said, just as well as I don't go by my middle name, which is Rebecca. Oh, could you imagine on that one there?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Here we go. Let's have a look at some of your soft craft items that you could be checking out on your baskets today that Becky's going to be going over just shortly. Now this one, this is our junior, this is our shape creator with a cutting mat and a free 45mm rotatory cutter. cutter. Now, everyone would be paying £55.98 or $59.90. However, if you are in our Club Inspire, if you are platinum, that's going to come down even more to £44.78, or it's going to come down to $47.92. So that is if you are in Club Inspire and you are platinum, that's going to come down here. So you're actually getting a really good saving already when it comes to this collection here. So I'm not going to pretend that I know lots about it, because I don't. That is why we've got Becky here as well today. So yeah, we'll go over these in a little bit more detail just shortly with Becky, but this is your junior shape creator with your cutting mat that we can see here. You're also getting your free 45mm, and this is your rotatory. It's a circle cutter. Well, it's not a circle cutter.
It's like a pizza cutter, but for craft.
There you go. Really good, good way to explain it. Just like instead of saying create, chat and craft, just say the three C's.
Yeah.
I like that one, Georgina, I like that one as well. But if you are into your soft crafts, that's not the only thing that we've got coming up. What about our Build-A-Block? This is our Build-A-Block of the week, and this is Build-A-Block 20-piece. This is our alphabet and number set. Now within this one here, you are going to be saving a whopper of 50%, this one being $34.99, $44.97. So if you are new to us and you're not in Club Inspire, then everyone would pay that price, which let's just say is a really good price as it is. But if you are platinum, that's going to come down to $27.99 or $35.98. Now, you can see I am familiar with the Build-A-Block range, but you can see, as the detail says on the screen there, it is alphabet and numbers, and Becky will also go through this. If, well, predominantly through as well, wake up call, but don't forget that we've also got 2 hours coming up, softer side, 3 o'clock here in the UK, 10 a.m. Eastern time, 7 a.m. Pacific time, where these will be shown as well. And we've also got a new launch as well, which some of you pesky lot have already got your hands on. And this is, so we're going to that. I was a bit, did I let the cat out the bag?
Meow! That was meant to be a cat coming out of a bag. Sorry.
We do have a launch on softer side as well.
Oh, we do as well, yeah.
But we've actually got 2, one of them being fabrics as well and templates as well, which some of you have already got on our website. So you can actually shop ahead. They're going to be featured later on within softer side as well. So that's on our website. Now what we're going to do, if you're thinking, I've thought about dabbling with the soft crafts, but I'm more with the paper crafts, don't you worry. We're going to be having a look at Launch Day, which is a brand new launch. These have not been seen anywhere other than Crafters TV. We did give you a tease this morning. We're going to give you a tease again, but we're going to have 2 hours, myself and George, 7 o'clock here in the UK, 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Pacific time, where these are our image sentiment die collection. 12 elements in total, and you're also getting 10 sheets of your white Centura Pearl. This is 310 GSM. Now, if you are not in Club Inspire, everyone would be paying £46.99 or $60.80. But if you are in Club Inspire and you are platinum level, that's going to come down to $37.59 or $48.64. To point out as well, when it comes to Club Inspire, if you join with Club Inspire, you instantly get 20% off your first order. That also goes for launch day items as well. Might be the first thing that you've bought being Club Inspire, you get an even more of a little bit of a discount as well. Throughout the day, throughout the weekend, we'll go over Club Inspire, but that is a really good saving straight off the bat, as it is for a launch day item. I've got demos galore towards the last half hour of Wake Up Call. We will then do some demoing. I did do a Facebook Live on my Facebook last night where I gave you a bit of a tease and I showed you all the different things that you could do, like not die cutting with them, but just embossing with them, using them with the foil press. All of these we'll do within launch day as well, plus we will do demo galore when it comes to that show. So remember, it's Friday, it's launch day, but it's 7 o'clock here in the UK, 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Pacific time. So don't worry about Coronation Street and Gogglebox and EastEnders and all that sort of stuff that's on, although I don't think Gogglebox is on at the moment. Come and watch myself and George. You're going to have so much fun, aren't you, Becky?
Absolutely, definitely. We have got loads and loads, as you can tell, coming up on the show for you today. And one that I would like to let you know about is our Get It, Got It, Good. This is our Get It, Got It Good today, and it's all for you organisers who want to make sure that your crafting is where it's meant to be, easy for you to take away with you and carry around. In this, you're getting the deluxe tote case, the portable tote, and the desktop tote. Now, the fabulous thing is you buy the deluxe and you get the others for free. Massive saving you're treating yourself to there. So get the deluxe and the portable and you're getting the other one for free. So it's a really good opportunity. And if you are organising your craft station like Craig is doing over the weekend, these are great things that you can make sure you're keeping everything where it's meant to be. And again, you can see that great deal there. And of course, you've got the platinum price of a Club Inspire as well, making it even more of a bargain. Now, we have got the lovely Becky Sworn with us today, and if you've not met her before and you're like me, a bit nosy, we'll be having a good old natter with her later on to find out a little bit more about her background. But for now, this is getting you prepared for our Softer Side show, all about wonderful soft craft. This really is one of those fabulous collections that we're about to bring to you that anyone can work with, because it's the Junior Shape Creator. And Becky, this is something that even brand new people can work with, right?
Absolutely. This is going to make everything very, very simple for you to use. So if you don't have a die cutting machine and you're not ready to sort of step into buying dies or buying a die cutting machine, this will allow you to cut things really simply and easily. So it's a large kind of perspex shape and it's got various little sort of grooves in it. So this is really useful if you're going to be cutting strips, because you've got these little grooves here to allow you to cut strips. You can cut all sorts of different shapes on here, and there's details all listed down the side of here about how to put them all together. So I'll show you how they work. Now, I found, from my point of view, I cut strips quite a lot, and it's quite difficult to make sure that you keep everything aligned nice and simply, and this was really, really useful for me. And actually, you can't see too closely, but you can see this is well used or well loved, whichever way you like to look at it. So I'm using a slightly smaller mat than we've got on the offer today, just because there's not a huge amount of space here, and I just find it a little bit easier to move things around. So I'm going to turn my mat so it's this way round, and I'm going to start off by cutting some strips. So I've got some of our new fabric that we've got on the show today, which isn't it beautiful?
Oh, it's stunning. The gold in it is incredible.
I felt so sad about cutting it up for samples because actually, as I mentioned last week, I'm a fabric stroker. I like to have fabric and I like to stroke it. Yeah. And I'm not alone. There are other fabric strokers, because people did call in, because I did feel like I was a little bit crazy. But no, there are people that are fabric strokers, and this is just beautiful. This is the floral one with a little gold, and these have all got sort of metallic colours in them. They're just stunning. So I'm going to start off by lining up my fabric, and I folded it over, so I've got sort of one piece of fabric and it's folded over into sort of 4 layers. And I'm going to place my shape creator on the top. Now, one thing you can use is some spray on the back to sort of let it to stick if you're finding it's moving around. Okay. But actually, it's pretty darn good about staying still. So I'm going to just line up this bottom line here, so I know it's all, all straight. And then if you can see down here, I've got a sort of a nasty edge. This is the edge that I don't want, and I'm going to trim it off. Now, at each point, the top and the bottom, you've got these little cut-out triangles, diamonds rather, and you pop your rotary cutter inside, and then you just press down the groove, and that will cut that edge off for you. I'll just go over again.
So is that the cutter that you're getting free, Becky?
It is, yeah.
So to do that, you need the cutter, where we could just sell it separately.
You could, yeah. And you can use any size rotary cutter. If you've got a smaller one that you want to use, you can absolutely use that. So that has trimmed off that very sort of tight edge, that very knotty edge over here. And so there you've got increments in inches, but you've also got one in the middle, so you can cut them into 1/2-inch strips. Now, if anyone's ever tried to cut a 1/2-inch strip, it is really difficult to get it nice and straight. Right. But actually, you can do it very, very simply here. So I'm going to pop it into the 1/2-inch space, pop it into that diamond. Once again, moving across down here. Now, the fabric hasn't moved, and this is the key thing. Now, if I was doing this at home, I'd be doing it on a slightly lower table, so that's why I'm going through it twice. Right. But you then can take away your creator, and you can then see the strip. So I didn't cut it quite right there. Just grab my scissors.
Look at that. You know, even then, from up above, you can see how pristine the edge is.
You can absolutely see. Now that's sort of the ratty edge. As I said, I'm going to use a slightly smaller rotary cutter because I haven't got a lot of height on here.
Yeah.
Just do that again so you can see properly with a smaller one. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get the edge or the height here. I'm going to do it from this side. As I'm right-handed, I should have done this first of all, shouldn't I? I'm going to cut across here. That's
it's
easier.
just like scissors, isn't it? You know,
It is.
I prefer tiny scissors to larger scissors, and you might feel it's the other way around. So suppose it's kind of like that sort of feel to you.
Much better. I should have done it that way in the first place. But you can see how tiny that strip is and how perfect that is. So this is going to be really useful for you if you're needing some strips of fabric for binding and for all sorts of different things. Now, there's nothing to stop you from using this for your paper cutting. If you didn't have a guillotine, but you wanted to sort of cut strips of fabric, card, there's nothing to stop you from doing it with this. Obviously, you would use a different rotary cutter if you're going to be using card rather than fabric. But yeah, there's absolutely nothing you needed to do that's any different. So I'm going to cut one strip that's a little bit thicker so you can see the other things you can do with this.
Because this is the fabulous thing, as well as straight lines, you can do circles on this, you can do hexagons and diamonds, which is really cool for your card making and your paper crafting, because although we have tools that can do that, this is a really nice way to kind of do it quite quickly.
It does, and it makes, sometimes when you're cutting shapes, especially if you're cutting things like triangles or diamonds and that sort of thing, you've got to make sure that they're accurate. And obviously with our dies, we make sure that they're completely accurate because you're using them with your die cutting machine, so they're going to cut perfectly. But if you haven't got one of those, and not everyone does, and not everybody wants one, you might be sort of a bit tight on space. This is very thin. It can easily sort of fit down the side of a table, that kind of thing. So it's really quite useful. So I've cut my strip here, and then I'm going to line up against this line here. So this is the 45-degree angle, but you've also got other angles here, and these are all, you can line up your strip against these, and they will allow you to cut different shapes. So you can see that I've got my 60-degree shape line here, and you've got all sorts of different things, but I'm going to go for the 45-degree angle, and I'm just going to place that edge across here. I'm going to take my rotary cutter and I'm going to cut, like this.
Oh, I see what you're
down
doing
here.
Now.
Yeah.
And then this is a 3-inch strip, so I'm going to count 3 across. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then if I cut here, that should give us a perfect diamond. And that's a very simple way of you starting to use this for all sorts of things. But that's not the only thing you can use it for. You can also use it for cutting circles. So if you, cutting circles, I mean, that's just a nightmare, isn't it? You're cutting around things to try and get a circle.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do here is we're going to cut roughly a square. And I'm going to cut it, I'm going to take this, it's not quite a square, it's more of a rectangle, but I'm going to fold it over into quarters, like this. So you've got a quarter here, and then around the edge of your shape creator, you've got different little shapes around here. So you can see here, this will do a 2-inch circle. You've got a 3-inch circle, a 4-inch circle, and a 1-inch circle. So if I start off by, I'm going to flip it over because it's a little bit easier for me being right-handed. I'm going to take the folded corners.
No way.
And I'll pop it here. Yeah, this is, see, there's so many different uses you can use this for. That's not quite straight.
And all of the instructions for the different shapes you can do are actually sort of embossed onto the board at the side. You see all that little writing?
Yeah. So
it tells you how you can do all of these. So if you do forget what it does, it's right there. And I always love that because I'm a nightmare for losing like proper paper manuals.
Yeah.
Oh, me too. I think that's a really useful thing to have, to be able to have everything sort of detailed on the actual item.
Yeah, definitely.
Just cut round the edge here. There we go. And then you can take that apart, and then if I open it out, you've got a perfectly cut circle. Oops. And you can do that with all of your different sizes. That is so useful. And that's just one of the many things you can make with this. This is such a useful thing. I actually use this far more than I use pretty much any of the other bits and pieces, because cutting strips is one of those things that you tend to use for lots and lots of different things. If you're going to cut your only binding strip, you know, that's a really useful thing to do. So really, really simple and easy. So there's so many different options you can do. Shall I do some other shapes so you can see what they look like?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, let's go for a hexagon. Let's pop that here. So I'm going to line my hexagon up against the 60 degrees. So down here, it will say here, cutting hexagons, you choose a 60-degree line of the mat. And so I'm going to pop that over here. There we go. And I'm going to line that up. So I'm going to choose this point here, over here. So that is going to allow me to sort of make the most of my fabric, because I don't want to really waste this fabric. Okay. And then I'm going to, I've done a 3-inch strip, so I'll cut 3 inches. So I've got 1, 2, 3, is that right? 1, 2, 3. Just make sure I get it into the right place. So that's the first cut. So I've cut this sort of large diamond here. And then, hoping I'm getting this right, I should then, here's my 60 degree.
Can I just say, Moira on Facebook has just put, I have this ruler. I had no idea about the circles. That's so handy.
That is really useful, isn't it? You know, there's just so many different options you can do. I'm going to layer this out, actually. I can't quite get my head round with hexagons and how they look. Like a 50 pence piece, or a 20 pence piece.
Yeah, like a honeycomb.
Yeah. So I'm going to lie that up.
Laurie is saying, this mat is so cool. I'm glad that you are enjoying it. Karen Wells is saying, I have the Shape Creator. I have the Shape Creator as well, and I have to say, it is one of those tools that, especially for cutting fabric, if you're following a pattern and say you have to do sort of, binding or whatever, and you have to cut perfectly, because with sewing it really is like you have to cut it perfectly, because otherwise things don't always fit together.
Yeah.
This absolutely revolutionised it for me. It makes your life so much easier. It's almost like if you imagine only ever cutting paper with scissors, not like a die or anything, only scissors, and then being given a guillotine. Good noise.
Yeah. Now I see what you mean.
Yeah.
That hasn't worked at all.
You got a triangle though. There you are.
That didn't work for me at all. I was listening to what other people were saying. Oh, you've got some little triangles there, absolutely. Yeah, that didn't work for me, that hexagon. I'm going to have to rethink that one.
That's okay.
There are lots of different options you can do, and obviously squares are quite an important thing when you are making a quilt. So if you we're talking about quilting here, because this is predominantly an item that you're going to be using for quilting. But you know, if you were going to be making some sort of bags and that kind of thing, I found, in actual fact, later on in the demos that we're doing with the new bag templates in later on show, there is a section where you've got to make straps for the bags, and actually cutting these with this is exactly what I did when I got home when I was making them. So that's quite a useful thing to have. So it's just one of those things, we try and bring you tools that you can have in your arsenal that are going to be able to make your life a lot easier. And as I say, you know, we've tried to utilise every single bit of space on this tool by having these curves and these corners. And of course, you could always use these corners for cutting the edges of things. Maybe you're doing a bag and you want a nice smooth corner, or a pouch or that kind of thing. So you've got lots of different ways you can use this. Yeah. And this is probably going to be something that you have and you use as often as you do a ruler, because you've got so many different options and ways of doing it. The fact that it's clear plastic and that it actually sort of, whilst it's just smooth underneath, it's not grippy like our quilting pattern guides. You could put some of our sort of stick and spray on there, and that will sort of stick to your fabric. But actually you can see where I was cutting before, it doesn't allow anything to move underneath. So you could cut hundreds and hundreds of strips really, really quickly without sort of having to invest in any other kind of machine or cutting them by hand, which is obviously going to be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, my mind's still blowing at that circle. I did not expect you to do that, Becky, there with the circle. And I suppose with having that as well, because it's quite thin, it's easy to just sit down at the side of your desk or maybe pop in a bag or, you know, something like that.
You know, we all sort of, and unless you've been tidying up your craft room, we're all a bit tight on space, aren't we?
Yeah.
And I quite like a tool that it has got multiple uses. I think that's sort of one of the reasons this kind of thing and a die cutting machine are really quite useful things to have, because there's so many different bits and pieces you can do with them. And they don't take, well, you know, this doesn't take up any space at all. It's not quite wafer thin, but it's close to wafer thin.
Yeah, not as chunky as a die cutting machine anyway, that's for sure. Gosh, I was mesmerised with that one. Loved that. I've got, obviously I'm not on softer side later on, but in between shows, I know I'm going to be prepping and watching for sure and see what else you can do. But that one there, everything that Becky was certainly going over there, that is the threaders, that is the shape creator. This is with the cutting mat, but you're also getting the free 45mm rotatory cutter within this one here. Now this is our sewing offer of the week. So here in the UK and Europe, you're going to be saving 25% on that today's price, which is £55.98. Of course, you guys Central Europe, you just need to go across onto your website. But for you guys stateside, it works out that you're saving 30%, $59.90, or if you're platinum, for the UK, you're $44.78. For the US of A, you're $47.92. And I'm going to say it again, if you're not in Club Inspire and you join, you get 20% off your first order, which includes something like Becky's just gone over there, or including a launch day item, a product that's launching that my other Becky's got to do with the soft crafts.
Yay! And this is a really special one that I'm launching for you now. It's fabrics. Now, just as a reminder, we are going to be talking with Becky more about strokeability, scale of 10.
Yeah, 10.
Good.
For two, I can tell.
But I do it with my cardstock, Becky.
Yeah.
I do it with my cardstock. So yeah, I completely get what you mean with the fabrics. I do it with cardstock.
It's beautiful, it really is. Let me let you know, I'm going to be bringing you 10 different designs. Now, we are going to be chatting more with Becky in a little bit. Don't forget, if you've got any questions for her, fling them over. But we are going to be having a little bit of an interview with Becky later on, because Becky is a soft crafter, but also a paper crafter as well. This fabric is so beautiful and such high quality because it is essentially the purest of pure cottons. You can use this with your mixed media pieces, with your card crafting as well. Just wanted to show you, if you can see it here, the pears are metallic. It is almost like a tiny little droplet of your old gold Centura pearl that you've got in this, in the sense that it is so wonderfully, just look, it's so wonderfully sparkly and glitzy. Now, when you're purchasing this, as you can see here, it is sold by the half metre. So when you buy this, you will get half a metre's worth of it. Half a metre, of course, 50 centimetres worth. Quite a nice large bit. But if, say, you wanted for a project like this, say you wanted to treat yourself and create, you know, with 2 metres worth, then I would suggest to you that you will grab yourself 2 metres worth of this, and it doesn't come in half metre sections. It will come as a continuous 2 metre, 3 metre, or whatever. Maximum we do in one set is 8 metres worth. So that's something for you to bear in mind. So that's the metallic pears on cream. I have also got for you the metallic on red. Now this, for me, is a really nice red. It's not quite a pillar box red or a post box red. It's almost like a saffron red, which is really pretty if you love your kind of tulip hues. Within there, it's very pretty, really feel good. And again, I love how bold the gold sort of looks on this, really, really luminescent. I've then got the copper on this one. Now these copper are rose gold. It is like a rose gold colour, and I have to say this one is the team's favourite. We love, first off, the blue. It's a denim blue. It's workable, it's wearable, but then that juxtaposition of the rose gold, which is just so in right now, it is a beautiful pairing, really pretty. And again, £6.99 or $10.49. I just want to remind you, we're talking about beautiful pure cotton here. And one thing I will mention to you as well is the quality of this is so exceptional. A lot of you will know when you buy cotton sometimes you will be able to see through it. That is a single layer right there, hand behind it, and there is not a jot to be seen. This is the quality we're dealing with here. So that's the rose gold. I've also got for you the flowers on cream. Now these flowers are golden flowers and they're almost like little daisies. You've got these lovely tendrils of the sort of leaves that are whirring around there, and it's got a really lovely teal colour to it, and that is on cream. And when we say cream, it is a really sort of, I'll show you it against white. I know my notes are on here, but I'll show you it against white just to show you the cream. It is a delicate one, so it's really nice and wearable. Let's go now for the gold flowers, but this time we're going for them on this green colour. And it is a beautiful green. This for me is almost like an Egyptian green, as it's sometimes known. Really wonderful colouring. And again, because you've got those daisy-like flowers, this is a really nice one, I would say, for beginners. The reason I'd say that is because sometimes when you're working with patterns that are very, very linear, such as stripes or spots that are all in the exact place, when you're actually sewing them together, if you get one the wrong way round or it's slightly off by like a millimetre, it's dead obvious. This one it's not, because it's a little bit more of a sort of higgledy-piggledy ditzy pattern, if you will. So if you are new, this is a really good pattern to think about. Then let's go floral with copper. And the copper berries you've got on this, and again, they're like a rose gold colour. I was talking before about if you wanted to do a mixed media design, imagine this with that lovely paisley cardstock that we do. I think it would look so good with that, and that is coming up for you later on the show. You can shop the show if you wanted to get that. You could do a mixed media with that. Now let's go on to the dark blue. This has got a really Liberty feel about it. When I'm looking at this, I'm thinking of those kind of Liberty patterns that you get. And again, just to let you know, you've got the metallics on those lovely berries there. So it's subtle, but then when it catches your eye, it's very striking. As well as this design, I'm bringing to you your pear hearts. Now, it is a month until Valentine's Day, and I feel like this is a perfect one for you to treat yourself to. The heart itself is really subtle, but if I point it out to you now, you see the vines that go around ending in that flower and go back up to end on those golden pears. That's where the design itself is. This one to me has got a touch of the Cath Kidston about it. I like it. I think it's got a little bit of that sort of intricacy, that almost playfulness. So that's a really pretty one. If you'd like it in the blue, I've got that as well for you. I think the idea of pairing these up together in patchwork quilting is going to look stunning because it's got that sort of fun feel to it, as I mentioned. And then last but by no means least, another one of our favours here, it is the dark blue with that rose gold. And just look at the beauty in that. If I show you it with the light blue as well, I feel like this could be something maybe for kind of a quilting technique, but also for cushions, it could be really nice too. So again, remember, they're sold in half meters, but if you buy, for example, 2 sets of the half meter, you will get a full meter when it's done. It's hard to pick your favourite, right? Have a go if you can, and if not, do feel free to treat yourself to a couple because they're all speaking to us. Is there any of them that's speaking to you a lot, Craig?
After listening to you explaining them all, I want them all.
They're just so good.
I love some of the words that you've used as well.
Oh, really?
I'm surprised that I didn't put you off. I'm sitting here and I'm miming to George and Georgina, you can see on the screen from the gallery, and you're coming out with this incredible word, and I'm going like that. Because I'm like, mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. But yeah, if only we had something like that in pattern paper, certainly I would be there as well. But there's no reason that you can't incorporate bits of them within your card making.
Totally.
You know, tuck them in the back of your cards or maybe your scrapbook pages, memory books, anything like that. You can always add fabrics in that as well, for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Really, really, really lovely when it comes to these ones here. But we're not finished with the soft crafts as of yet. We are going to carry on, and we're going to be having a look at our builder blocks. When I say we, the royal we, it's not me, it's Becky that's going to be having a look at this one again. So this is our builder block of the week. Now, if you are new to us or you are not in Club Inspire, you will be paying $34.99 or $44.97. When it comes to this one here, you're saving 50%. Now, if you are platinum, that is then going to come down to $27.99 or $35.98. That is a bargain, or as Georgina said, bargain. It absolutely is. Also, when it comes to this one here as well, if you do sign up for Club Inspire, you get your 20% off your first order, which includes things like this as well. So even although it is 50% off, and it is something that I just been told actually we sell regularly anyway, there's no reason for us to do a discount on it, because everyone needs alphabets when it comes to soft crafts or even paper crafts, but on this occasion we are thinking of the soft crafts. And I've seen little teases as to what you could be doing with them. So I tell you what, instead of me just waffling on about, you know, what I think I know, when clearly I don't, the expert is right to the side of me. And what can you do with these ones, Becky?
There's so many things you can do. So this is the largest block. So this is a 12-inch block. So when I first sort of saw these, and then when I'll show you the actual the bits and pieces that make them up. So these are all letters A's, all in different sizes. So you could do, obviously the key thing that you would assume that you would make with something like this is a kind of a kid's blanket with the ABCs on it. But you're also going to be getting everything to make the numbers, and you'll also be able to make some shapes as well. So actually you can be making almost sort of like what I would term kind of heirloom quilts, the kind of quilts that people would have made traditionally and handed those down to families. And obviously, like you say, alphabets don't go out of fashion.
No.
You can incorporate, you know, people's names on these. You don't just have to use every single one of these blocks to, you know, all the letters. And obviously, because it's part of the builder block system, it all ties in with the builder blocks products that we brought to you in the previous shows. So I'll show you what they look like when you get them. So obviously they all come in the great packaging, and I recently, like everybody, tidied up my craft room.
Right.
I did just tidy up one corner of it. I tidied up the shelf that's got all my builder blocks on it, and it looks lovely, that little bit. The rest of it is a mess, but that little bit looks really nice because you've got everything there. So when you open up your box, you will see it's lots of different, mainly squares, triangles and rectangles. And these are what you use in order to make those letters, numbers and those shapes. So you've got your little sort of map, your little guide here, which shows you the different sizes and where everything's placed. And as always, these are held sort of, I was just going to say securely, but that one's just popped out. Securely in this box, so you know where everything is when you want to start using it.
Yeah.
And obviously you're going to be getting your booklet. So the booklet is really fundamental when you're making this, because it's quite important that you sort of see how you build the blocks together. So if I open up and show you A, for example, you can see it shows you a mixture of different the things you need to use to make the A. Okay. So it's a question of different squares and also triangles, and you just need to choose which size you're wanting to make. So if you want to make an extra large one, which is a 12-inch block, you choose the extra large squares and the extra large triangles in order to make it. So obviously it doesn't matter whether it's a large block or a small block, you're going to be using the same different shapes relative to that particular letter.
Right.
So other letters will need different shapes. For example, the G, you'll be using rectangles in there to make those. So this is sort of quite, you know, it's almost like if you were going to be drawing out on a piece of graph paper as a kid, you're drawing out letters. That's basically what we've done here for you. And so you cut out all these different shapes, and then you would then put them together in order to make the design. But as I said before, you also have the numbers in here. So I mean, I thought this would be really quite good if you're going to be making kind of bunting around the
Ooh,
room. You could use these for sort of decorating the bunting to make them out of blocks. But you also get some different shapes here as well. So you've got your normal sort of question marks and exclamation marks and a hashtag, and then you get hearts, You've got this little house, a bear, a forest tree,
That's
a flower.
genius.
And that's just from these shapes. So this is like this is what I find amazing with Builder Block System, because you can choose from something that's very, very simple, just squares, triangles and rectangles. And you can make so many different designs and blocks together from using these, which really makes your life so much easier and quicker in order for you to produce the bits and pieces. So I'm going to start by putting them together, and I'm going to be making a B because there's 2 Beckys. I should have done a BBC, but I didn't.
A BBC.
A BBC. Becky and Craig.
Yay!
Do you know what it was as well, Becky, that like threw me at the start as well? When you were saying how you can make different shapes and that, and then I'm thinking, as a paper crafter and dies, I'm thinking, well, how can you do that with your alphabets? When you opened that box and I seen it wasn't alphabet dies, it was shapes,
Yeah.
and it's the shapes that create the alphabets or the numbers. Then that's when I realised, now I see what you mean by you can create these different shapes, as you showed with the heart and the bear, the hashtag. So cool to be able to do that.
So many different things that you can, you start using these little squares for cutting out and doing a square border around bits and pieces. But I just think we've had the dies before where they are whole letters, and they're fantastic for applique. And I assumed before I sort of got these and had a proper look that they would be a similar kind of thing. But actually, there's so much more. There's so many more options. And I suspect that if you were you were looking at sort of different languages, you wanted to use sort of a more sort of Greek or Arabic words and letters, you'd be able to manipulate these shapes into these. These are obviously based on sort of Roman letters, but there's nothing to stop you from using those shapes to create any kind of word that you would want to. With using sort of French accents and things like that, or an umlaut, those kind of things. So I'm just going to cut a few squares of fabric, and then I'm going to pop them through my Gemini. So I'm working on the. I want squares this size. So that is my size for a large square, which is this one here. I can tell I've used it before because it's still got a bit of tape left on it. Like all good pieces of dies, we've always got little bits of tape and card and all those sorts of things left over them, don't we? So I'm using my fabric cutting plates because these are multimedia dies, but you can use your ordinary plates if you don't have these. Okay. But because I cut so much fabric and so many times, these are really useful for me. So I've got my layers of fabric. So I've got 6 layers of fabric here, and I'm going to place my die on the top, and I'm just going to tape it down. So obviously you could when you're doing these, depending on the fabric you're using, you can be very sort of cautious and make sure that you're lining up your dies with the fabric, so you're effectively sort of fussy cutting those shapes out as well. So there's lots of different options you can do.
Just to say as well, Becky, that if you are looking to replace your plates for doing your soft crafts, that was a close one. The junior and the large plates are in stock across on our website as well, so you can check them out, crafterscompanion.co.uk.com or .eu.
Okay, so I've run that through, and then I take my tape off.
If you do want some of these fabric cutting plates as well, there are some on the website in the normal size and the junior size.
Like what I've just said?
Yeah.
10 seconds ago.
Yeah, no, but I was just reiterating because your soft crafts threw me off. Crafts.
Oh dear, it's going to be one of those days, isn't it? So we're working on the letter B. So if I show you just here. So we're going to be using a mixture of squares, and we're going to be using 2 half square triangles, and we're also going to be using a background square. So I've been using this beautiful fabric, and I've been using just some plain white to put that together. So I've already cut out, so I'm going to do this bottom row at the moment. So I'm going to line up my fabric here. So I want 3 squares, then I want a triangle, a second triangle, and then I would like to have a white square at the end. So I'm going to start putting these together, and then you can see how quickly it comes together and you get this fantastic looking block. So we've already got a 1/4 inch seam allowance taken into account here. So I'm just going to line those two up and stitch them together. So if you,
Maria's in saying that this would be a great set for traditional quilts. Says, I'm going to make a Moria lap quilt. Always nice to have something with my name on since it's a little unique. That's such a good point, isn't it, actually? Especially if you have got an unusual name or you're gifting someone with an unusual name. You could have a great time with this.
You could. Pet name, maybe? Oh, the sewing machine's out.
What type of pet names?
Sewing machine's out, Becky.
Schnookums?
Schnookums as a pet name.
Yeah, I think that's quite a nice pet name.
As in a nickname, or that's your pet's name?
Either or.
I've been called a lot of names, not Schnookums.
Well, we were saying earlier, because obviously it's a bit confusing with two Beckys, maybe we should have a nickname, but my nicknames are a bit rude, so I don't think I can use those. My dad used to call me Ugly. Ugly or Flower.
Oh, I like Flower.
I know which one of those I prefer.
Apparently it was said with love, but I'm not entirely sure you should be calling your child ugly. Seems a little unfair, but I'll forgive him.
So now that you've cut these ones, Flower, what is it that you're doing with them, with the sewing machine?
So I'm sewing with a 1/4 inch seam. So on the triangle one, so we're just going to put those two sides together like that, and you will see from these, they're not sort of perfect triangles. You've got this sort of little paste that's been taken off. Now we've done that deliberately, and that's to make sure that you end up with a minimum amount of fabric that's unneeded in the seam. So that would be something that you would normally trim off, but because we've built that into the dies, it means it sort of makes it a little bit easier for you when you're putting everything together. And
it's not quite as bulky, is it?
That's right. We sort of call them the dog ears.
Yeah.
So I've done my corner here, and then I'll sew, just trim that.
It's such a smooth join, isn't it? It's just a clear join. You've not got any fraying or anything like that by doing it what you've just done, Becky.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the problems I always found with when I was making things was making sure that everything's sort of lined up, and because everything is sort of die cut, it does sort of eradicate that kind of fear that you've not got things quite round the right way, and it does sort of it means that your work's going to be quicker. And it's also going to be, in theory, more accurate, as long as you're sort of sticking to your seam allowance that you're going to be using.
Yeah.
So, do you sew, Craig?
Steph, who works through in head office, who's a sewer, she went over some basics a while back.
Yeah.
Of course, Bernie, that we used to have here, that's not that long, moved on. She, showed me a few bits and pieces as well. One of my close friends is a sewist, but it's one of those things, where I really just need to. I would love to know the basics of it, like doing what you're doing now.
Yeah.
It's just everything's time, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
New year, new craft, so why not?
And I think that's the thing with everything, isn't it? You sort of run out of time, and you sort of. I think that's the great thing about having videos available now, because it does make it. You can sort of fit things in as and when you've got a few moments to try something out. So you can see here that is the bottom of my bee. Doesn't look like a bee yet, but it will do in a moment. So I'm going to put the rest of this together. So I've already stitched this part. So there we've got the top of the bee, and then we've got the curve going down, and then when I sew that together,
look at that.
That will be the bee. So the bee for the Beckys, or the best day, or who knows what we're going to do the bee for. So one thing that you'll notice is making sure that one of the key things is making sure you line up your seams. The best thing to do is, after you've sewn everything together, is to give it a bit of an iron, give it a bit of a press to make sure everything's nice and flat. But if you just sort of see where your seams are, I think one of the key things is not to worry if it doesn't match up, because part of the act of doing is, you know, sort of getting it finished, and sort of moving on, and you'll hone your skills, and by having one of the things I find difficult if I'm using different sewing machines. So my sewing machine at home, I've done most of the work on. If I'm using a different one, and they've got sort of different, you know, different layouts, different ways of sewing. So, you know, you just need to sort of, you know, be kind to yourself and have a go at making something. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. You can just keep trying. I mean, that's the thing we're talking about, doing new crafts this year, aren't we? Sort of trying out new things. You're never going to be the best at something, first of all. You've just sort of got to keep on learning. And I think that's the key thing.
And it's good that you say that, Becky, because it will help people at home. Well,
I mean, you know, with any kind of craft, but I wanted to do resin work. And I wanted to give that a whirl. And I've bought all the stuff, and I haven't had time to give it a whirl, because, you know, you run out of time. But I'm also a bit concerned that I'll do it wrong, and I just sort of keep thinking, well, it doesn't really matter if I do it wrong. No one's going to see it. I'm not going to be, you know, sort of graded on it. It's not an exam. I'm doing it for myself, and I think that's what's really important, and that's what's an important thing for us to remember when we are doing a craft. That, you know, we should be sort of doing it for the fun as well as the final action. You know,
absolutely. Well, it's like you said, you've said it absolutely spot on there, you know, because many at your home, you know, you see us as experts, which is lovely. But we still feel the same as well at times, don't we? You know, if we're wanting to start something new or that, we're maybe, you know, we need to hone our craft that little bit more. The more we do it, the more practice we get. So we still feel exactly the same when we're trying other things. And I think it's always key, you know, when we've got someone like Becky or any of us, just saying that, we're all human. You know, we do feel the same.
It is beautiful. I loved that B. And Beth's just messaged in, by the way, saying, B for Beth!
Oh, fabulous. So that was that the end of the B? Sorry, Becky.
It's the end of the B, yeah. So I just wanted to sort of say you've got other different options of the different things here. And as you can see, you know, where I put that one together, you can now sort of see how they all build in exactly the same way in these sort of long strips.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Becky. I was absolutely engrossed with that full part that you were showing there, because I just think that, yes, obviously, you know, you can do what Becky's done. Please remember as well, and please, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, Becky, but because these are kind of like mixed media, multimedia dies for your fabric, we can still do them with our paper crafts as well. Or other materials. So that's a good way of doing it as well. The simple fact is, everything that Becky showed you there, within that box there, that is key shapes. So yes, you can do your alphabets. You've seen all the other shapes that you could do with Becky going through that little booklet there. Why someone thought it would be a really good idea to use these ones as the building block of the week, I do not know. But it's in your benefit. You've absolutely got that building block, 20-piece alphabet and numbers. So if you're not in Club Inspire, you will be paying £34.99 or $44.97. But if you're Club Inspire and you're Platinum, that comes down to £27.99 or $35.98 when it comes to these ones. So just to say as well, on that today's price, it does work out that you're saving 50% on that one. Absolutely nuts, if I do say so myself. But it's nuts in a good way for your benefit.
Absolutely. So if you do want to seize the moment, now is your chance. That is not the only new thing that I've got on for you today. The next new element, especially if you've maybe never tuned into Softside, maybe, you know, you are sort of a dedicated follower of papercraft, absolutely fine. But if you do fancy taking the chance on New Year, New Craft, I would strongly suggest this next item, because this will create professional elements that are not only usable, they are highly sellable and giftable. We're talking your bag making templates. In here, you are going to be getting the carry-all bag, that's the Cambridge style. You've got the Salisbury crossover bag, and then you're getting all of sort of the elements of it in like rose gold and rainbow. So that's all like the hardware. So if I show you an example, so here's one of them. This is me Salisbury here. You know what? It's sort of an over the body one. I'm going to stand up a bit. There you are. It's an over the body one that you've got here. All of these elements elements that you can use to hook on, hook off. They're all included. This is your rose gold collection. You've got, look at these, all of these fabulous pockets in this design. There's absolutely oodles you can do with this. So that's one style that we've got here for you. And then I've got the Cambridge, which is the carry-all. And this one really will carry it all. It is absolutely huge. You have got the opportunity to put on the longer handle if you want to, but if you don't want to, it works beautifully just as a bag. I think with the sort of sturdiness of this, I mean, it's massive, that, isn't it? It's great for, you know, even like a laundry basket, you know, carrying laundry up and down stairs and things like that. It's a really nice size, this one. A nice little weekend bag, a little weekend away bag, or even kind of a bag for someone that you just fill it with loads of pampering goodies and then they use it time and time again. Better than a bag for life, isn't it? So if you would like to seize the moment, this is everything you're going to be getting. It is a big discount for you today with all of that hardware. And they are very, very useful indeed. It really is special. So more to come from that in Softer Side. But for now, I am joined by the other Becky. It's lovely Becky Sworn who's with us today. Now, if you've not met Becky before, because you've done sort of bits and bobs of shows with us before, but you may well not have seen her if maybe you don't tune into Softer Side that often. We're going to have a little bit of a Q&A with Becky. Don't forget, if you have got any questions, then you can absolutely feel free to come in. Now, Becky, I know from speaking to you a few times before, you've mentioned to us, well, obviously you come from a really creative, crafty family. What crafts kind of first grabbed your imagination and kind of started you in this journey?
It's quite a difficult thing because my parents worked at Shepperton Studios, so I spent a lot of my time sort of surrounded by clay and glitter and all those sorts of things. So I was always sort of surrounded by making clothes or making cards. There was lots and lots of different things around. So I suppose it was just one of those things that people did. You know, like some parents, some dads might go fishing. My dad would build Fabergé eggs out of polystyrene. You know, that was sort of the kind of thing that we did.
Yeah, it's incredible that, isn't it? Did you always know that kind of having a craft business is something that was a passion of yours?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I was a child, I really wanted to have an art shop just so I could arrange all the paints. But actually, you know, it's always been sort of my dream to be able to doing something like this and calling it my job. You know, I get to play with bits of glue and, you know, fabrics and ribbons all the time, and you know, I get paid for it, which is brilliant.
Yeah. We know, chatting again, that lovely Becky does both soft craft and paper craft. The ultimate question, which do you prefer?
I don't think I can make a decision.
No.
It's too difficult because they fill different sort of parts. You know, I sometimes find making a card is quite a good thing to just quickly do, but equally it's really nice to be able to make an outfit or make a top or a jacket or something. So I couldn't choose, I couldn't.
It's both.
Yeah, it's both.
Yeah, we'll let you have that. What is it that you have enjoyed about working here at Crafters TV?
Everyone's so nice. I mean, I sound like a bit of a cliche, but actually everybody's been so welcoming. And there's just so much knowledge and talent here that I sound like sort of brown-nosing everybody, but I've been quite bewildered by how welcomed I've been and how much I've learned in the last, you know, a few months. A few months. It's been very, very quick. So yeah, I like it all.
Oh, that's so lovely. Another difficult one for you now.
Yeah.
If you had to choose your favourite product, what would it be?
I think either my favourite crafters product would be a Gemini. Because there's so many different options you could do with it. But actually, one of the key things I think in any kind of craft is scissors. Having a really good pair of scissors is really important. In any kind of craft, you're always going to need a decent pair of scissors.
Mm-hmm. You did say to throw a curveball at you, so I'm going to.
Oh no.
If you were a flavour of crisps, what flavour of crisps would you be and why, Becky?
I would be truffle flavoured.
Oh, tell why.
Yeah, truffle, because my husband will sound quite expensive. And perhaps I'm an acquired taste. And you often find me, you know, with pigs in a forest or something. That'll do. You really just throw me a curveball then.
I know, but you did say I should, and yeah. Also, as kind of someone, if you imagine you sat watching at home who's always been a paper crafter, what kind of advice would you give to paper crafters at home to maybe tempt them to have a go at soft craft?
I'd choose something simple first of all. Don't decide you're going to make yourself a jacket. Even I shy away from jackets, and my mum does, and she's a costume designer. I would start with something simple like a cushion cover, something that you can just sort of try out. It can be very simple. You can do it by hand, and you'll then sort of see it on a regular basis, and your confidence will grow. So I'd say start small and simple. There's lots of different sort of tools that you can use to help you make something quite simple look quite exciting with some applique. But yeah, there's plenty of videos for you to watch to get started. And so lots of ways of being able to help you hold your hand.
Definitely. And that is such a fun thing to new year, new craft, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect
we should all give it a whirl. You never know.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Becky. Don't you go anywhere. We have got so many more treats coming up for you in Softicide. Just as a reminder, Softicide is on 3 p.m. UK time today, which is 10 a.m. Eastern. If you do want to tune in and find out more about the lovely Becky, but also see some of her fabulous crafts, because quite frankly, some of the goodies that have been made are they're going to blow your mind. You're going to absolutely adore them. We have got more makes and more demos coming up. With lovely Craig is there in Crafter's Corner. Before that though, we're going to give you a moment or two to just scour the web, shop the show for what you need, and then check out your baskets. And whilst you're doing that, find out a little bit more about Crafters TV.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Quiet. The neighbours.
I'm all out of Zoom. I'm so lost without you. I'm not singing.
Lisa, if you email in, don't send a picture of your air fryer. Make sure it's something creative.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
Joy, there's not a dry eye in the studio here. Debbie's welling up, I'm welling up.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the Crafters Companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% of your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash. Put away your tape measure and fabric scissors. The Threader's fabric cutter offers accuracy and precision with every cut. This handy tool slices through fabric in a guillotine style. Its ergonomic design features a comfortable and protective handle, so it's safe and easy to use whether you're right or left-handed. Its 45mm rotary blade will cut up to 6 layers of fabric at a time, so your sewing, quilting, and upholstery project times are cut down to size. It's equipped with a measuring guide in metric and imperial for a perfectly accurate cut every time. The built-in grid ruler has 30-degree, 45-degree, and 60-degree angle lines, so you can cut fabric on any angle, including the bias. Quick buy, all your crafty must-haves in a flash.
Welcome back to Wake Up Call. You are watching CTV with us, BBC. Becky and Craig joining you this morning. Now, we have already had some retreats and some launches for you when we come to our softer side show. Coming up for you today, 3 p.m. UK time, that's 10 a.m. Eastern, don't forget. We have also got paper craft launch as well, and this is something to definitely make you smile. It is your image sentiment die collection. You're getting 12 different elements with these, and you're getting 10 sheets of our wonderful card. Every one of them you're saving 25% on these. And if you're a platinum member, you're getting it for just $37.59 or $48.64, which is a great deal. There is so much that you can do with these and lots of different formats. I will just remind you as well, if there's just 2 of them that are speaking to you, there is an offer on whereby you can pick which 2 you want, and they're either £18 or $22, $21. So if you do want to seize the moment on just 2, you can. Best way to get a big saving is to get the full amount, especially if they're talking to you. And they are a chatty set of dies, aren't they, Craig?
There really, really are so many things that you can do with them. We've still got comments coming in, just saying how much that they love Becky with doing the soft crafts there a moment ago. We've actually got Mary saying, love that bag, the one that you were showing, Becky. Becky Redican. It's not awkward at all, is it? 2 Georges in the gallery, 2 Beckys here. And Rachel on her comment, whose middle name is Rebecca. Oh. Yes, so anyway, so we're saying there, love that bag, the material is terrific. Don't forget, Becky is going to be having a look at the brand new fabrics that we've got coming up within Softer Side. Aisha is saying, oh, this is a really nice one. Becky, you're beautiful. Love you in that orange. Really nice comments coming in. Diana saying, I'm a dressmaker of 40 years, but discovered card making 3 years ago. And that's a really good point, because I know a lot of people go from soft crafts into card making, or predominantly they go from, and I've been told this a lot, cross-stitching into card making. Something about the cross-stitching aspect, whether it is you do the cross-stitch and then you pop them into your own card blank, whether that's something to do with getting you into card making, it could be. Moira saying pillowcases are always fun first project and you can use them right away. You can do as well. And yes, many other comments just coming in just saying how you love that section of the show with Becky and the soft crafts. So she's going to be back for full 2 hours, 3 o'clock here in the UK, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time. That means I get a couple of hours break before I come back with our brand new launch day. This is our brand new launch, which is our Image Sentiment Die collection. 12 elements in total, 10 sheets of cardstock, as Becky Redican has told you, £46.99, $60.80 for you guys stateside, platinum $37.59, $48.64. If you are across in Europe, you just need to go to your website, which is either crafterscompanion.co.uk here in the UK.com for you guys stateside, .eu for you guys Central Europe. And as Georgina's just said in my ear, and you're absolutely spot on, Georgina, these are like mini creator cards. And in some form, that's what we're away to be doing kind of within this demonstration. 2 hours with myself and George later on in the day, 7 o'clock, 2 p.m. Eastern Time or 11 a.m. Pacific Time. So we're going to have, so I've gone from George and George and Becky, and then later on tonight I'm going to be with myself and I'm going to be with George and George and George. Surrounded by Georges. This is going to be fun. Going to have 3 here and 3 Georges. Whew. Anyway, I think I'll be turning my my talk back down a little bit. Here we go. I never turn you off, Georgina. Never. Never. I just give you stick for it. Never turn you off, though. Right, let's have a look at these. These ones are our, these are our trusted boards that you love to see as well as to what you're going to be getting. Now, the main image die, so the main die here, what we've got, it die cuts lovely, as you can see here. These are all sentiment, but you've got that image factor. Now, I'm going to explain, how that's a good thing just shortly. Many good things about it, but there's something specifically good about it. What this one does is the main inside image, it actually has an outside cutting edge. Plus, you're getting an additional outside cutting edge, a matte layer. That opens up so many other possibilities because it enables you to do your card blanks, which we're going to do in a moment with them. Then what you can then do is you can come along and you can do apertures, you can do your backgrounds, you can do your mattes and layers, shakers, all of these by simply including this background die. But this one here, now everything I'm getting or I'm showing you, you're going to be getting within the image sentiment die collection. So we've got If Friends Were Flowers, I Pick You. And this is actually the one we're going to be demonstrating with just shortly. Then we've also got Thank You for Everything That You Do, or more specifically, Thank You for Everything You Do. And this one, you've got lovely butterflies within this one here. And these ones, all of them, I would highly suggest you run them through with your embossing mat afterwards, because things like this one here with the cupcakes, it's got lots of embossed detail within the die. So this one here, it says, it's time to celebrate with cake. Lots of cake, which I totally agree. Birthday cake is my favourite kind of cake to have. So we've got that one. We've got Count Your Blessings on this one here. They've all got different shapes with them, so you can then really do lots of different card blank sizes and shapes if you want. This one within my Facebook Live last night, this was a really, really popular one, and I can totally understand why. This one being Faith, Hope and Love. And look at the snippability as well. So for instance, this one, you could, if you wanted to, snip out the sentiment and you've got a lovely floral frame as well. So you've got options within them. Then what we've got is Friendship Means the World. So that's what it's called, but it actually says in total, your friendship means the world to me. And again, you've got snippability in this one as you do with all of them. So that's what you're going to be getting within your full launch day bundle. What I'm going to do just now is let's show you some finished samples. Now, if you've seen my Facebook Live last night, these are different finished samples to what I showed you yesterday. So let's show you what you can be doing. So we've got your Friendship Means the World to Me. So you can do your larger cards, you can do your square cards, you can do your easel cards to show you that, and that's because you've got that outside die as well to go with it. We can then do more of our shaped cards that we've got here. So If Friends Were Flowers, here we go. This is what I was talking about, additional shape dies. So you're able to do that because you've got that outside cutting edge. Then we've got Count Your Blessings. Here's another one with Count Your Blessings. So if you've seen Craft, Chat and Create this morning, we showed you the Ultimate Pro, the scoreboard. This is when you can then do your card shapes, your card blanks, and your even your concept cards if you want to. Die cut it out in white, colour it if you want to, but then you can do your boxes as well. So maybe if you want to make little gifts such as wax melts or maybe even little sweeties or something, you can. And last few for now, so again, this is the Thank You for Everything That You Do. Last but not least, Faith, Hope and Love. Nice small card or a square card, or you might want to do them as little tags if you want. There's so many different options. They're so versatile when it comes to the things you can do. So let's dive straight in. And what I've already done to save a little bit of time, I've taken the white Centura Pearl that you get within the bundle, 310 GSM, and it's a reoccurring theme when I say there's actually no reason for us to pop that into the bundle, but we've done it, which is a win-win for you, so take advantage. So I used my nesting die, my circle stitched edge nesting die, which is 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. So I've done 2 of them. And then what I've done is on my third one, using my scoreboard, I've scored a line roughly halfway, doesn't need to be exact, and then 1/2 inch at the edge. This is going to create our easel card that we're going to focus on in a moment. So So then what I'm going to do is I've got some of our, it's not quite purple, it's not quite lavender, you've got that in between Centura Pearl. And I'm going to go in with the If Friends Were Flowers, I'd Pick You. These have got so many lovely and heartfelt sentiments within them, Becky, that whatever you're going to be making, whatever you're going to be doing, they're going to suit so many different kind of loves out there. For instance, if you love the flowers or you love cakes, suits you all. So what we can do is tape that on, wafer thin die, so it's our base cut and plate, plastic, magnetic top plate. What I'd done on the Facebook Live last night, and I'll be doing it during launch day today, not only can you die cut with them, but we do have the option to just emboss them, which we've done in Craft, Chat and Create. And you can also use them on the foil press, which we will be doing
That's
on
what Sarah
launch
was
day.
saying. Sarah Kay said, I really enjoyed Craig's sneaky peek last night with these and the foil press. Are you doing more of that later?
I'm going to be doing that in the launch day show for sure,
Brilliant.
100%. Now this is what I meant, Becky, but I would highly recommend that you emboss these after, because you've actually got embossed detail within the die.
Lovely.
So what I've done is I've taken out the magnetic shim, popped in my embossing mat, and we're going to let that run through.
Sandra's saying about cross-stitching, saying that is exactly what I did, Craig. I couldn't make cross-stitch designs quick enough, so that's what got her into card making.
Isn't it funny that, isn't it? Yeah. And you think nowadays, if you still like to do your cross-stitching, but still like your paper crafts, things like your nesting dies or your mats and layers dies, or even this, say that you've done this die cutting, if that was more on a bigger square, there's an aperture, pop your cross-stitch behind it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So look at things that are potentially waste when they're not actually waste.
Yeah.
So let's take this one out. Now I could be using my die brush, but I'm not for speed. This is my set of dies as well, so I can get away with doing that. So then what we can then do is if I bring in my pokey tool and I'm going to pop all these bits out. So what I'll do is I've got one die cut, so that you can see that it's die cut absolutely perfectly. See how they're all popping out?
Yeah.
Every single one's die cut. I didn't need a metal shim for this one. All die cut just perfectly that you can see there. So let's save a little bit of time. And here we go. So we've got If Friends Were Flowers, I'd Pick You. So that's that one. So I'm going to set that to the side and that to the side. I've got some vellum here. So it's a little piece of vellum. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the outline die. So this is the one that I'm going to take, and we can die cut this one. So we're going to run this one through. And size-wise, I actually could have done both this die cutting at once, this one and that one, because it would have fitted on my junior plates. But of course, if you've got your larger machine, Becky, you absolutely could be doing a multitude of layers all at once. But we're going to run that one through. And I would need two of them. So I've already got one already done. And then what I've also got done as well is if I take one other one, so let me show you this one. So that's die cut into vellum. It could be our plain vellum, it could be pattern vellum that you can see here. So that's these two of them, and I've done one of them. The other thing that I've done in one of our Centura Pearls is I've cut another one within this green tone that you can see here. But what I've done when I talked about snippability, what I've done beforehand is snipped out lots of these little foliage bits. So I'll do one so you can see what I mean if you are one of those many viewers that are new to us at Crafters TV. All that I can do is follow the slight emboss line using my small scissors. This is where I personally find it easier with smaller scissors. And you can go out, we can go round, and we can cherry pick sections. And this is one of those that you might not have the patience for it, and if you don't, that's fine, you don't need to do it, you could colour it instead, but I do have patience for things like this, so I do like doing things like that. So we've got that one, and then what I've also done beforehand is, when it comes to this actual die, I've die cut it in a white Centura Pearl card, and the little bits that come out at the scallop, again, it is patience, which I have, I've kept a hold of them and I've got them through on my adhesive sheet here. So have a look again at waste, at how you could be using them and see, you know, if you're going to use them into paper piecing, if you're going to do a little bit of snipping, the options, there really is so many ways in which you could use them, Becky.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
So taking in this bit here, so all that I've done is popped adhesive onto that little fold here, and I'm going to match that right over my bottom circle that we can see here. And then on this half, I'm going to pop my adhesive again. So I'm going to pop that one on, and we can sandwich that over the top. Now, although all three are layered over the top, because I've stuck them in specific positions, what I've got is an easel form. So there we go. Now, although I've done my easel with circle nesting dies, I could have done it with the outline die.
Great.
So, you know, card blanks as well, mats and layers, all these different options you could be doing. So let's open this one up here. Now, before I stick this vellum down, this will be a little bit too big to start with. So see how it overlaps at the side here?
Yeah.
All that I'm going to do is I'm going to snip that off by hand. You could take your guillotine paper trimmer, your rotary trimmer if you use one for card making. And then what I'm going to do is that sits nicely underneath here. And then what I'm also going to do now is I'm going to use, for time and speed, I am going to use my paper, I'm going to use my tape runner, tape pen, that's what I was trying to think. And in actual fact, you won't really see a lot of the adhesive popping through because this one specifically is a patterned one. If you're using a whiter vellum, I would highly recommend like our tacky glue and tiny little dots. That's all that you need. But you can see here, even then, you don't see the tape runner. So we've now used the background die with vellum as decoration on a bottom layer. Then what I'm going to do within this one here is before I stick this one on, we can come on with our additional vellum layer. And I'm going to pop this one on. But what I'm doing, Becky, is I like to pop my adhesive only in the centre part of the vellum because I like that natural free-flowing motion around the edges.
Yeah.
So I like how the fact that the vellum just naturally has the option to move if it wants to.
Yeah.
So we've got that free-flowing all the way round. Then I'm going to take this one, and you can either stick it onto your card blank first of all, which I am going to do. So I'm going to pop this on. I'm using my dotted tape runner, which is out of stock at the moment. We've got plenty of the straight tape runners. The dotted are out of stock. They were out of stock on Craft, Chat and Create. C3s. So we can pop...
C3PO.
C3PO. So what we've got...
Emma's just asked, hi Craig.
Hi.
What is your adhesive sheet, please? I think I'd like one.
Oh, this one. So this one here this is actually what we would call a Xyron machine. So it's like a sticker machine. Now, the way of the world at the moment, this has been out of stock for quite some time. We are still hoping to get it back in, but it is one of the casualties of getting it shipped across, as I say, with what is going on in the world. So what you can do is you can use your adhesive sprays if you want. And this is basically, you know, things like the backing of your 3D foam pads, that sheet. So you can spray the backing of your die cut pieces and stick them on, and it's just easy access. So I'm only going to do a couple here because I've got one finished to the side. But what we can do is stick this one on. And, you know, don't worry, we do have 2 hours fully dedicated to these sentiment image dies. So we're going to paper piece these back in all the way round, but we also need to create a stopper. So I'm going to lift that one up. I've got a little bit of ribbon, which are tied into a bow. I'm going to use my hot glue. That can go down into place here. That will act as a stopper that we can see here. And then once you have completed the full lot, it will look like this. So taking advantage of the waist, taking advantage of that background, outlined eye as well. Use them together, mats and layers, use them separately. Lots of versatility and lots of options is what we love. And then talking about options, incorporate just your embossing mat, your foil press, all these different things that we'll be going over in a lot more detail. 7 o'clock here in the UK, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time. But you can see the details on your screen. Image, sentiment die collection, 12 elements in total, including 10 sheets of Centura apparel. Every one today, if you're not in Club Inspire, would be $46.99 or $60.80. Join our Club Inspire, get 20% off that price. But if you are in Club Inspire, your platinum price, £37.59 for $8.64. Or for you guys across in Europe, you just need to go to .eu. But myself and George will see you back then for 2 hours of this launch day.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for showing us that. It's a lot of fun, as you can see. So do feel free to treat yourself whilst you can. And then you can watch back and chill out and put your feet up later on. Now, it is time to get ready for Demo of the Show. So, 2 demos today. We've got the bee. Becky, where's your bee?
Oh, I think it's over on the other side of the studio.
Oh, is it? Packs it away with you?
I'll have to go and get it.
All right, I'll let you go and get it. Yeah, I'll rabble on for a little bit whilst you go and grab it. If you are new to us and you don't know what Demo of the Show is, basically each show, apart from the one in the 8 o'clock, each show we have different demos. The 3 C's.
Oh, the 3 C's.
We have different demonstrations and then we vote on our favourite demo of the show. And then we do our favourite demo of the day. And then we do our favourite demo of the week. And then we do our favourite demo of the month. So, up for grabs today, we have got Becky's Bee. This is make number 1. If you want to vote for this, you most certainly can on our socials. And then make number 2 from Craig Laird is his card with those new sentiments. So, get your votes in and we will announce the winner very, very soon indeed. And this is how you do it. Get social and let us know if it's 1 or 2. Do feel free to get in touch with us. And there are plenty of you who've been getting in touch today. Rosalind saying, great show, guys. Covered a lot this morning. We have been productive, haven't we?
Definitely.
Yeah, very good. Mary says, loving the card. The vellum looks awesome. Most certainly does. Keep those votes coming in. Now, let me just tell you, got a couple more treats to show you before the end of the show. This is a selection, of your 8-inch by 8-inch textured cardstock that I'm bringing to you. You have got 72 sheets in total in this. And as you can see, pastel colours, and you're also getting your bright colours as well. And the texture on these, if you've not seen it before, it's almost like a linen texture, which is really pretty indeed. Great for you to be able to use with a multitude of your different elements, saving yourself over 25% on that one today. Not just that, I've got for you some markers. Now we did some different Spectrum Noir markers for you earlier on. These ones are glitter. And what that means is you get a serious amount of impact from the colour, but you also get, ooh, some serious sparkle. We're bringing to you 2 different colour sets. Vibrant florals and your neon lights as well. So you're getting, you don't have to choose your favourite one, you're getting them both today. 19.18 or 15.34 if you are getting this on platinum as well. Remember, softer side, we've got Becky joining us at 3 o'clock, that's UK time. Brand new launches, including elements to help you make this stunning bag and the hold all as well. So that's coming up for you. Also, don't forget, we have got that launch day too. Demo of the show is through, and the winner is number 2, Craig.
Is it really? I'm absolutely shocked at that one. Just to say, I was listening to you, Becky, but what I've just been doing is my paper piecing, finishing this one off. So yeah, I'm genuinely shocked at that because I did think Becky's B was going to win on that one. But here we go. There is what is going to go up against. Well, actually, it's going to be me and you up against each other in Demo of the Day later on. So, yeah, Becky, there's a point. Becky's going to win the next one. That's a guarantee. So, at the end of the day with myself and George, it's going to be me versus Becky, although I would quite say Becky's going to win because just the things that she's going to be doing. I have thoroughly enjoyed this show with a mix of soft crafts as well as the paper crafts. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Becky. It was an absolute joy. You are very welcome. Had an absolute blast. I'm not going too far. Well, I'm for a few hours, but then I will be back when it comes to launch day. So as I said a moment ago, if you're just joining us right now, launch day, 7 o'clock here in the UK, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time, where it is the show, the one that's all about the launch day. So we have got 2 hours back to back showcasing our brand new launch day, which is our image sentiment dies. We're going to die cut them, we're going to boss with them, we're going to layer with them, we're going to foil with them, we're going to gild and wax with them, we're going to do lots and lots and lots. If you want to see what we're not going to do with them, come back, tune in, join in and watch myself and George. Have a lovely rest of the day until I come back. Enjoy Softer Side with Becky, and I will see you later on in the day before I see you again for Wake Up Call, same time on Monday. We will do it all over again. Bye.